So I'm sorry to disappoint Supermoto purists, but as you can probably tell, I haven't bought this bike to become a very serious racer. I've mostly bought it just to muck about on. Well, that didn't age well. Of course, I didn't intentionally lie to you. That's kind of just how things worked out. So no, I'm still not becoming a very serious racer, entirely due to my lack of talent, that my desire to do so, but I did contradict myself just a few videos later like this. That does unfortunately mark the end of this, and even this. These are going to have to stick to the track, because the last set seemed rather susceptible to punctures when anywhere other than the track. I bought my Husqvarna Supermoto under the assumption that the track would be kind of repetitive, and learning basic stunts would be fun. However, it seems that I had it all backwards. The track turned out to be fun, and mucking about was what got repetitive very quickly, although it might be different if I was better at it. The final nail in the coffin was puncturing my slick in just 3 rides, suggesting that slicks aren't built for random excursions to dodgy abandoned roads and should maybe stick to the track. Who knew? The obvious solution is putting street-orientated tires on so that I get the best of both worlds, right? But that's the other issue with this bike. It's not just a dirt bike with road tires, it's a pretty serious race supermoto. It's as stiff as a superbike, stiffer than my MT-09. Fitting street tires would be sacrilege, assuming you could even find a 16.5-inch tire in the first place. So instead of trying to turn it into something that it's not, let's rather get it back to the racetrack and embrace what it does best. This time my first session was much less wobbly and questionable than last time, since I didn't have to learn the track layout. So all I had to do was warm the bike up, scrub my new tires in, and try to click my brain into Supermoto mode, which turned out to be the hardest part. So I've actually come back to the same track as last time for a few reasons. Firstly, because there aren't that many options this close to my house, which makes it really convenient. Secondly, it's a good track. It was lots of fun. There's no reason to change, and I'm still sort of learning it. And thirdly, because there's a Boeing 737 in the middle of the track. And I love airplanes. It's missing the engines, of course, which I'm guessing are quite expensive. The landing gear looks a little bit permanent. Basically everything that's important or costs money is taken out of that. Anyone in there? I think they knew I was going to try and steal it despite having no license and such permanent landing gear. The first time I ever came here, it was open, it was unlocked. I even got to walk around inside of it, which was kind of fun. And I think their plan was to turn it into a restaurant or something, which I mean is a good location for that. In a plane on top of a racetrack. Can't get too many better meals than that in my opinion. So in the last Supermoto video, it got a new piston and rings, which should give us more compression and unlock a horsepower or 2. I left off by showing you that the 450 started after its top-end rebuild, and nobody was more surprised and relieved than me. Since then, I've done 3 heat cycles to make the piston feel more at home in its new cylinder. I'm not sure if it really makes much of a difference, but it makes me feel better. And now it's ready to play. I was eager to see if it does make more power, since it's always felt slower than I'd expected, but at first it just felt uncomfortable. The tires had been pumped sky high when they fitted the new tires, and apparently I was too lazy to check the pressures afterwards. It took me all day to break the habit of short shifting that I developed last time I was here, which is where most of the power was hiding. By the second session, I already felt like I was back to the pace that I was doing by the end of the day last time, which gave me confidence. However, I kind of plateaued there. I seemed to hit a wall at that pace. I could do the same lap times relatively consistently, but to go faster, I'd need to push my own limits. And it felt like the harder I pushed, the slower I went. Basically, too much rider, not enough bike. I'm sure you know the feeling. Or more realistically, I was trying to override the bike, which just makes you slower, not faster. I thought a few laps in these might help.
and if it didn't, I could just turn it into a motocross track instead, but no one would give me the keys. They even confiscated the excavator's bucket for some reason. So in the next session, I tried to take a step back and ride smoother. I tried to let off the brakes a little earlier to increase my corner speed and prove to my brain that it is possible without dying, and it felt like I could go a tad faster with less effort. This left-hander is the trickiest corner without a doubt, purely because of the approach. Coming in, you can't really see the corner over the crest, so getting the line right is tricky. That also makes you want to brake earlier because you can't see where you need to go, but I only really need to brake once over the crest. However, the bike also goes light over the other side of the crest, meaning you can't brake as hard. But it's all of those factors that make it so much fun to practice getting right. There are also a few faster corners where I could easily carry more speed, but it takes a lot of laps to build up the confidence, or bigger coconuts.
For the sake of YouTube, I would love to go from slow to pro in just one day, because that would be an entertaining video. But in reality, it doesn't quite work that way. It takes hundreds of hours and plenty of track days just to get to a good level. But that doesn't mean that I didn't get small victories today.
I didn't struggle with the lines that I did last time. I got closer to the edge of my tire by the end of the day than at the start. I was looking to the next corner better than normal, as you can even tell by the chin-mounted GoPro. I felt more comfortable, and best of all, the bike is definitely stronger and didn't blow up. It was actually lifting the front wheel, which is more what I expected from a 450. I mean, it might all be in my head, but that's good enough for me. Actually, best of all was that I was almost a full 2 seconds a lap faster than last time. So, no matter how slow I look, I am in fact making progress.
But anyway, despite this bike not being 100% what I expected, and accidentally lying to you guys about my intentions with it, it is a lot of fun. And I think I have learned quite a lot from it so far.